All right, so let's have a little conversation about things that are actually your pelvic floor, but you didn't realize for your pelvic floor. So I ran Army 10 miler, I guess it was beginning of October, so it's been just over a month ago, and felt fine. But when I finished, I had a pain kind of up inside my left hip. That is not my surgical hip. My hip that I had FAI surgery on is the other one. That was 18 years ago. And I didn't think anything of it. And then maybe a week later, just did a short run, all kind of pissed off. And it's sort of been that way ever since. And so I decided to take a break last week because, sometimes when you just keep banging your head against the wall and it doesn't work, you should probably do something different. And it's weird. It was one of those things where like I couldn't turn my hip out on my left side and it would kind of catch on my inner thigh and my adductor. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's that. Maybe it's like a hamstring tendinopathy. And then Sunday I'm like, maybe it's a deep hip rotator. Yeah. Did a little bit of internal work on my obturator, little wand work on that left side, and a lot better. But I'm an idiot, and instead of doing my wand work and then doing a little bit of accessory movement or just smaller movements, I went for a run, which was dumb. So it's not perfect, but it's definitely much better than last week. And so my point here is I figured out what amount of running I could do and not make it mad. But I also kept going to the gym too. And I've tweaked my workouts. So like today we're doing front and back squat, and it was supposed to be like 75% of our max, 1 rep max front squat. And I haven't I guess we've been doing back squats. And I was like, you know what, we're just going to dial it back and just go super light and then gradually load it up. And I think it's just such a different mindset of if you have an injury that you figured out, you don't have to just stop. And just stopping doesn't mean that you can come back in 2 weeks and everything is fine again, because the problem's still there. And so it's never good to be a PT and kind of navigating these things, because the DIY sometimes isn't the best. But I think I figured out now it's a little hip rotator-ish. And I've just got to, treat it like a little bit of a pelvic floor issue and then reintegrate it back in again. But the big thing is, my big takeaway is, if something doesn't feel great, get on it sooner than later. But again, like, I'm not stopping everything. I'm keeping it in a range of discomfort, and that's what I do with my patients. I'm like, no more than a 1 or 2 out of 10. It doesn't last any more than an hour. It definitely isn't worse into the next day. Like, you need to be able to be doing things functionally. And if all that is fine, you can still keep working out. Because I know once you get out of that habit, it's a freaking nightmare. But yeah, such a joke. Like, I think if I weren't a pelvic floor PT, like, I was destined to be a pelvic floor PT, not because of like anything particular, but just to kind of figure out my own hips. But yeah, don't forget that obturator internus, it's a hip rotator, is up in there. And it's not just, an internal muscle. It definitely can infect external stuff running, But yeah, if you've had a hip issue that you can't quite figure out, I might want to go see a pelvic floor PT and get that figured out. And once you do, if you are doing any sort of manual work, wand work, anything like that, don't do that and then just go run. Do that. You should have a couple accessory exercises to do and then go run after that. Don't be like an idiot. And I'm so stupid, because I literally, like, half mile in, I'm like, oh, I should have done that. I'm an idiot. So I'm just as bad of a patient. But yeah, if you had any hip issues that you suspect might be pelvic floor, drop in the DMs. Let's see if we can get it figured out.